I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that. Hey, why not? Yeah.
Name is Coach Jem. Jem Aaron is my full name. I'm the owner of Jem Fitness, the Lions Den, and I just celebrated my 10 years of that gym in Oregon. And
I almost came.
Say it again.
I almost came to that.
Well,
I was gonna
you would have
cut.
seen Swenny. You would have seen.
That would have been so. Like Lacey was gonna go, and then I was like, "Yo, let me know if you go," because then she was gonna introduce me to you and Preston, and she was like, "You should still go up there." But then I was like, "Well, these guys don't know me," and now I'm thinking like I would have went like,
You
really,
would have
like
had a
what?
great time. That's crazy.
10 years, so that's awesome.
Again, I've been in Oregon for about 11-ish, maybe a little bit over, and in America now for 19, right? Something like that. Yeah, longer than that.
You said you left when you were 17.
Yeah, I was in Texas at 17. So
Yeah, so 22,
22,
30,
yeah,
22 years.
22 years. That's crazy. So, I mean, that's a whole life span itself. I feel like, you sometimes you think life is not really long, but if you break things down, it feels like it was a whole nother lifetime. So, and I get to do things daily that I sometimes feel like I hope this is not a dream, So, it's a big word thrown around that you say, like, I changed lives, like some deep shit, like to say that, like, there got to be a backup of something, and to do those things is to be able to touch people in a way that is nothing to do with what you learned, is truly who you are, and then you get that out of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm blessed to train I did the math one time, a long time ago. Okay, if I trained that many people a week and it was this many appointments, this many differences, and every month I could change, like over thousands of people that I came across physically, hands-on, and then whatever was online through, the whole world, because I had a program that I met with people through Skype. When I first did online stuff, I said, I cannot sell my program unless you get in 1 hour. I got to kind of tell you the way I think this should be used and how you do every single exercise I gave you. Because other than that, you're just going to look at something and be like, okay. So I needed to feel that connection. So I did that too. Australia, 17 hours difference. I'm like, okay, I can do 10 p.m. Can you? Okay, good. Dubai, Germany. I mean, so anyway, going back to be able to do a job, to do it well, to be able to not just do results only, but measurable results that people got somewhere with a part of your help, So I think Alexander the Great said, I'm thankful for my father to give me life, but I'm thankful for my teacher to live life well. So to be able to be a coach and a teacher to these youth kids, like I trained Jaden Grant, he started at basketball, now he's in football. And I do these things without thinking, because it's just me being me. But when he's a grown man, tattoos, driving, he's asking me what exhaust I have on my truck because he wants to put it on his Charger, He used to get dropped off in the gym by his mom because he couldn't drive when I first trained him. But he's like, thank you. He wrote me on his jersey, like, thank you for helping me from this young boy to a grown man with all the positive things you said and done. And I don't think those things. I don't wake up and say, that's what I want to embed it into them. But if you would see how you live and how you tell things stick to you. Swanee didn't know that he was doing those things, but the behavior sticks to you. And that, to me, man, it's priceless. And I think that's why I love doing it, too. And even if you train high-end, I trained David Benavidez. He's the 2-time WBC world champion. Youngest ever in the history of boxing, winning the super middleweight title at 168. So when he was a young kid, I trained his brother, right? He's the world champion. And David was this fat kid. and I trained his brother, and I'm done. We were like in California, was in Arizona too before, but then he's like, hey, because he boxed, but he was really good, but everybody wanted a part of the brother because he trained with Freddie Roach, and he was the youngest ever signed by Top Rank at 17. So, David was younger and heavier, and I'm done training his brother, and he's like, hey, can we do some stuff? I'm like, sure, let's go. Like, I'm not getting paid by David, and I could give him some little things, but these little things like shaped him. You know who he is? I just talked to him. He just got the Caleb Plant fight. Caleb Plant just lost to Canelo and knocked just out Anthony Durrell. My guy beat Anthony Durrell. Now they're fighting. So it's going to be a really, really big event. And just to see these patterns shape in front of you, and you know that I never want to say. Another thing I want to share with you is people say, like, I can never make somebody be what they are. Like, I cannot change that. They either have it or they don't. Because I'm not a creator, right? Custamato even said that. That's a quote from him. I uncover and unfold things in people. So now think of this, like, if you can't jump that high, if that wasn't in you, I'm not going to get it out of you.
Right.
But some people, there's a lot of great people, but they never have that right person to help them uncover it or take it out. Like Mike Tyson, having that kind of a man in his corner became that. You know how many people are out there that could be something, but they don't have that person. Like, listen to this quote. Custamato said, and that's Mike Tyson's trainer. If I'm not wrong, I think it's on his gravestone. I'm not sure. A boy came to me with a spark of interest. Okay? A spark of interest is nothing. You give me a spark of interest, I'll tell you a quick story and it dies. He says, I took that spark, turned it into a flame. Flame is still I can blow out, right? I took that flame, turning into a fire. Now if there's a fire in here, I'm like, shit, bro, I don't know what to do. I took that fire and turning into a roaring blaze. You know what I mean? I get goosebumps because you need people sometimes in life that help you get those things out. Most of the time people are, like, I'm going to use training because that's what I'm in. They got that chip on their shoulder. If they train an athlete or somebody's like, I made it, or he wouldn't be shit if I don't show him these things, or they secretly want to have that life too. Man, I played ball and I could be still good. Like, if you're not a truly servant to what you do, then that's not a job then, because a trainer, a coach, got to be a servant. It's like I would choose to train you first, then myself. A lot of people can do that. They say they can, but I'm talking in the longer run, not one time, right? To be able to like coach, like the sacrifices that people do just to like make somebody get to a certain position, and I like that if athletes or people acknowledge that through their coach and people who helped them. That could be even like a side friend who helped them, right? Pacquiao had Boo Boo. He goes like, man, I want you to come to America with me. You're going to hold mitts for me. He goes, bro, I'm your friend. I don't even know how to do this. I'll show you. 1, 1, 2, slip. Yeah. He teaches him, but he wanted that from him because that shows you that things can be taught. But you need those solid people that have the roots in the floor that can go through times with you to help you be better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Where do you think you get this kind of thinking or understanding? Like, is this something as a kid you learned in your family? Is this something once you got to the States you studied? Like, where does that come from in you?
I mean, nobody in my family did anything with training, not even fitness, not even athletics. I think the greatest gift, and with more and more I like let even people say something about me, or I get to, sit back and pay attention. I think the character of who I am, and when I first came to America, my friend Chris, I was a trainer at Gold's Gym way back. He goes, bro, you're strange. We were in a sauna at Gold's Gym, and he goes, he was my boss. He goes, you do things and you don't have I don't even know what that word is, like a
alternative motive
or like a second thing for it, right? I'm like, I couldn't even understand what he's talking about. He goes, "You're genuinely nice, and you do things without even going like, I'm gonna use that later if I need it." And I'm like, it's like second nature to me to be who I am, because that's me, right? So I feed that fire more. Sometimes, as much as like I did boxing or I can look tough, I'm more of like the nicer person, man. You can break. That's why being a full-on boxer, I mean, I boxed, you got to be wired differently, man. You know what I mean? I mean, I did good in my amateur and I won, but there's got to be a different feeling. And I'm more of like let me give you a hug. You know what I mean? You broke me. So let me use those terms to motivate you more. So everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
So just me being who I am, and I wish I can bottle it up and tell you. Long time ago, do you know TRX, the straps?
Yeah.
Randy Hedrick, he's the creator of it.
Okay.
I met him at a conference when he was like nothing yet. And he's next to the booth, and I'm at the next to the booth, and I'm wearing weighted stuff. Pants, jackets. I knew the guy. He goes, "Would you come to the conference?" 22 years old, jumping around, push-ups, clapping, reverse shit. He's like, "Bro, slow down, because this is day one. There's 3 days. You're gonna be tired." I said, "I'm a different breed, bro. I'm the Turkish bull," I said, you know? And second day went even harder, using the straps, doing things. What I mean with that, where I'm going with this is, I met, we became friends, and I was gonna try out to this Biggest Loser, like as a trainer. And I let people write me stuff, and he wrote me, I look at it every day. And, you know, his writing is like, I know Jem. He goes, "It's impossible not to meet Jem for 5 minutes, walk away, and feel like your day got better." Bro, I hope in my life I never will lose that, you know what I mean? Because I don't even know what it is, but hopefully that sticks, and I don't need to know where it is, but I don't lose that, because that gave me all the great things and jobs and, training people in the highest level, flying private jets to different locations to train, only with me being B, not even like the extra sauces, just like if that's what you can do and you are you, then the rest is good.
That has been a common theme that I've spoken with the multiple people on the podcast about, and even for me, starting this, I was never a podcaster. I wasn't big on social media, so it's definitely been out of my comfort zone to post, even though I post most of the stuff of everyone else and not me, but still, I'm not used to that. And when I started researching podcasts and how to make it all happen, some of the big names in the podcast world or in social media world say, just be yourself. And it's a simple thing to say, but especially when we turn the cameras on and the mics on and the lights and whatever you field you might be in, you definitely have to fight of trying to be something you're not. Like, I definitely have to say, just be yourself, Trav. Just talk the way you talk. Just interact with people the way you interact. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just be yourself. But it's amazing how many people I talk to and they feel like, well, I can't just be myself. I wish I could just be myself within this space. I wish I could just be myself. And I think I'll speak for me right now. In these last 4 months, I finally, before we started recording, you mentioned, and you've mentioned it when we were recording here, that, at times you'll wake up and be like, am I in a dream? Like, this feels like a dream. I hope I'm not going to wake up. And I'm finally 40 I'm 40, and I'm finding that right now. This stuff, especially this is unique, because I almost feel like you're like family now because of the people and crazy. I know, it brought these emotions.
I can see it in your eyes. You don't even need to say it,
But for me to feel like, oh, this is what it feels like to, am I dreaming right now? I love doing this. There's a lot of affirmation. People are saying, good job, this, that, the other, oh, that's what it feels like. And I think one of the most beautiful things for me with this, I'm just being myself. I'm just being myself.
So simple, but like you said, and for me, this is like breathing, right? And to people listening out there, like if you're battling things where I get this sometimes, people just want to cover up, like they're like, I just want to be myself. Just take the steps of like, how can you be yourself? It's very simple. You don't look at a sheet of what you should be. Number one, right? I should be like this because I'm known here, or I'm not this because I am. If people choose you, you look at the Shark Tanks. This guy's talking about his business. The guy goes, I'm gonna buy this, but we're not gonna do this. I want you. Right? They don't care about the little thing. Now, I'm honored and I'm mad at you at the same time. Like, your gym is shit. I don't want it no more. But I think I like you for doing this. So I'm like, so you're getting me, but we're not doing the gym thing. I'm confused. But so if you can do that, if you can find that, and I think you really can if you just take a step back instead of like being in this chaotic thing of like trying to go out this door constantly, or thinking, man, I used to like do this. I used to like have this six pack, and that's when, I had more confidence. Or that's all not it. Yeah. If I had this car, I would be. No, you won't. I swear to you, you won't. You know what I mean? At day 2, and then you like, because behaviors go back to it, right? So, but start with just, it's if I didn't have to wake up every morning and do the things I do, I would probably be depressed. Yeah. So for you to find something that gives you pleasure back, and hopefully that will also help you financially. Yeah. Right? Because sometimes those don't match up. Yep. You're building these little chairs and they're amazing out of wood. You're spending hours, but it's not feeding you. Right. But at least it gives you that. That's why having maybe a job and then you create a hobby, and one day that can grow, right? Yep. But just things like that. And then hopefully find a little small group or one person that really likes you for who you are and not the facade you're trying to put out. Yeah. And if you have those things, I think you can slowly wheel yourself out to be like, I can just be myself. I don't need to be. When I do seminars about fitness and, I'm in front of these people or camera, I'm like, man, I know my shit, but then I go, bro, but there's some really, really good people out there. Like, I want to make sure I do this right. And then I go like, bro, step back. I cannot do wrong if I just say the things I did. Yeah. Maybe they're not 100% aligned, but I don't bullshit them because this is what we did for the training and this is the outcome. Damn, but then normally it doesn't work like that. We can talk about this, but at least it's not bullshitted through, right? This is what we did. Yeah. So to be able to have that, I mean, blessed enough to train multiple Blazers or basketball players, but, Damian Lillard is one of my closest, more of a friend now, and that took years. It's not something like, oh, hey, we train you, we do this. Like, I don't know if I ever said that, but I didn't even watch much of the games because I'm working at the gym. Not that I didn't choose to when the first 2-3 years he played, but I trained him, Yeah. I did go to practices with the basket shooting coach so I can see the movements, right? Now I'm glued to the TV because I like to see if it moves differently, Yeah. Or I go like, hey, what happened to you, Lee? I said, you touched it. He goes, bro, how did you see that? I'm like, bro, I was watching you. So it's good to see those things. But just to be able to like do the things you do and you do it well, and you can get that feedback from an athlete that, hey, the things we done really helping me mentally too. It's not just the facade of like, oh, I train this. I am getting better. And then we can discuss things that you don't like or they're not working for you. Let's see why you don't like it or something. So a lot of people, when they train somebody in a bigger caliber, they go like this, like, hey, good. Okay, you want to try? Hey, train me. You know what I mean? Like, train me. Yeah. Don't. But what is happening? I'm not being myself. Yep. So I'm just kind of, this is a CEO of this? Okay, sir, so kind of, hey, can you train me? And then we figure it out, like if it's too much or not, right? So a lot of people have a hard time with that because they go like, but when you truly just train 6, 7, 8, 9, that's the one I got in front of me, and I'm going to deal with that person at the moment. So if you can figure that out in whatever you do, I think you can be successful, because if you, a therapist to somebody, you can't just relate to the big time guy. Now you got somebody 17 struggling with things, and you go, well, I do that with ballers. Like, they're big time. Now you're not getting through me. But if
Right.
that's really your job and you're really good at it, he's gone, and now I'm trying to figure you out.
Right.
So be you, and being authentic and things like that. It's actually so easy because nobody knows how to be except yourself. So if you can figure that out, uncover it in your body, and hopefully help somebody do it, I think that would be a beautiful mirror. If you look in, some people say they don't like what they see in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like, man, I love it. Like, I help people. I didn't screw nobody over, Today an incident happened. I went to the dentist, and then I went to Whole Foods. I had a hoodie on and a beanie, I'm making this little food, and I see a credit card on the counter right there where you put food in. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring it to the front. I do my stuff. I go to the front there, and I see this lady at the counter, look like at the self-checkout looking, so I can think that's her. Then she went outside, came back in, and I said, because I can see the name, I said, excuse me, ma'am, what's your name? She goes, so-and-so. I said, okay, I think I got your card. Here you go. She goes, don't touch me. Bro, sometimes I wish I'm more of a mean person. I was going to rip it up and throw it away. And I'm like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, what did you see? But then I go to myself, I did what I want to do. Why am I mad? I don't know what she's going through.
Right.
Like, okay, go, here you go. But yes, in my mind, I wanted to, hey, thank you so much. But it doesn't matter because I learned from these things. I found the card, never ever do I want that or do something with it.
Yeah.
I gave it back to you.
Yeah.
How you took it, why am I going to be upset with that situation? Because
Right.
I just wanted to give you a card. I didn't want nothing for it. But yes, we want this. Sometimes it's nice. Thank you so much. Like, mad at me, like I did something. And then I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. Maybe the way I looked or what you thought. I don't know what you
Right.
thought, So, but these moments teach me to be like, if I want to do kindness to you, and that's what I want to do, don't worry about the outlook, because why don't you like that gift I gave you? Well, I don't know. I like it, but I don't like it as much as you like it, right? So why do I have to like it as much as you do? So
Right.
those are things we do unconsciously, but if you pay attention to, you do the kindness or the thing because you want it to, it's right for you. How they do it is not up to you because you can't control that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's just showing character and integrity to like, I'm going to do the right thing, even if I don't get the result that I was hoping for.
Exactly.
Or the response I was hoping for. It was still the right thing to do. So you came here when you were 17.
Yep.
What motivated you? Did you come here like alone when you were 17?
No. So I'm born and raised in Germany. I'm Turkish. Germany is not really that big. Guess where my stepdad works for the military, and he goes, we're going to go to America. We're going to go to America. And I'm like, after a while, it was like, yeah, whatever. But I wasn't really thrilled. I mean, I'm working in Germany now. I was finishing school, and I forgot what the name is in Germany. You do something half school, half work. That's what you learn. So if I did a painter, so you go to school to learn about what cannot be mixed, colors. But then the next week, I'm at the job. The next week, I'm back at school. Does that make sense? So you learn actually the best way by working for a company that does it, but also learning the practical or the thing. So, and I was finishing school, and I'm working on another side job, buying myself some Prada shoes, and I'm like living life. And he's like, finally he got the job. Guess where I moved to? Like state. Just get a guess.
Well, was that Texas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Texas, bro. Like, the doors opened up. I couldn't breathe because it was like August or September. It was so humid in San Antonio. I'm like, where am I? I go to the school where you got to have your shirt tucked in because weapons or something. And unbelievable. And I was super strong in Germany based on the people that I knew.
Uh-huh.
And I actually played basketball.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I was fucking touching rims and doing shit when I was young. I come to America, go to John Jay High School, Mustangs, and I worked out always, so I was stronger built. And they go like, "Hey, we're gonna bring you to the coach, for sports." And he says, "What you do?" I said, "I actually play basketball in Germany." He looked me dead in the eye and is like, "I'm gonna introduce you to the wrestling and the football coach." He didn't even say, "Let me see what you got, bro." Like, not even. I was like, my shot as a basketball player went down. Then I see these football guys benching 405. I'm like, where am I? This was unreal for me, like they're like 16, 15, 16, but then later I learned that football or whatever in Texas is different than anywhere else.
Yes,
So,
that is true.
And it took me like time, and that's another thing. Like, it took me time to see what you do. Like, I mean, I'm 17 in America. Like, I've been clubbing in Germany since 15, 16. You know what I mean? Like 3 years already. It's normal. And I had to see, how do you move? How do you say hi? Guys kiss in Germany. Me going up to some dude,
Especially
"Hey,
in
bro."
Texas.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, bro? So you watch, you learn, right? You pay attention, and then not what I had or what I am, me as a character, as me as a person. They're like, "Hey, man, I have a sister, and where I come from, you don't talk to my sister." So I'm like, "Bro, these guys are gonna be strong. I'm gonna get my ass whooped too." And meet the right people, and they're like, "Hey, don't worry." So like my sister and stuff, friends don't date like that, So they respected it, and again, with you being yourself and you being authentic, even if it doesn't clash, it's like, here's this European kind of a guy dressed differently, but deep inside he's cool, So you don't need to be exactly like the other ones if you have character, if you're authentic, if you don't judge, right? Because, people sometimes you don't need to say shit. It's how you look and how you do things that give you that vibe, right? I mean, that's important. It's not something, I didn't say that. You didn't need to say it. I can feel it. I can see it by your emotions or whatever that is. So, and I met some great people. And then he had a job changed, and then we went to Arizona. And that's where I was for about 8 years or something like that before I came here. So.
And when you got to Arizona, did you jump right into Coach Wynn's gym, or how did that connection?
No. I was a physical therapy technician, so I was gonna go to become maybe a physical therapist. I was still deciding. So I was a physical therapy technician at a clinic where I was Thai, and it was like older people where I lived in Florence, Arizona. So I'm doing ultrasounds to these 80-year-old people. Yeah, hello, Jem, I love seeing you. Then I take that off and put the Gold's Gym trainer shirt on, and I drive 1 hour to be a trainer at Gold's Gym with meatheads. Like, I'm like, man, and I was boxing at that same time too, competing. So, but I, was gonna see what direction I liked more. And then I was a bigger trainer at Gold's Gym with a lot of clients. Again, not just because the knowledge, because I'm newer. Yes, I learned, but the cup is not full yet, right? I mean, you learn the best by doing training these bodies over and over, where you go like, okay, I see the book says this, but this is not working well with this client. I don't know why, but I got to figure that out. Then the manager there went to FitQuest, which was owned by Mark, because he bought it off as a tax write-off to be in Arizona. And he said to me, "I'm going to bring you over too, Jim." And I'm like, fuck. Okay, you left here, and he was telling me that he's going to get me there, and then I became over there. So, hello.
That's William. He owns the place.
Okay. He has the right to come in.
He can do what he wants.
Yeah. So then I started at FitQuest, where Mark was the owner. I worked the nights because I was as a physical therapy technician. My friend Chris worked mornings. Then he married this girl who dad was owner of the lumber company. He went over there. So now I'm me, and I was going to ASU at that moment too. Now I'm in the spot, like, you can be this manager or you can take over the gym. And I'm like, I'm going to give up some part of what I was doing. How about I can figure some out where maybe I can somehow buy a part of this? Then at least if I didn't finish this yet, I didn't just do this for more money, right? I can be a part owner or something like that. Long story short, I'm getting good. Finally, it can be yours, and then the inflation hits. I'm like, man, screw this, So we dissolved it, but that's when I was a little bit down, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And Mark said, like, hey, I mean, if you want to try to, and then I had this memory from I came here once before, and it was nice. Said, let me try it, without not knowing anything. 10 years later, I'm traveling all around the world training professional athletes, and if you would have told me that back then, I would have said, you keep talking, I'm gonna punch you because you like talking shit to me, right? Yeah. That's why I never really. Again, I never just said. There are people, they become trainers and they really push hard to train professional athletes. Yeah. Not in my once through my bone that I just knew I had a gift I can relate to people and make them listen to me. Yeah. How that will came to train. I was training, before I trained Dame, I was training his brother, Houston.
Okay.
And I met Houston through PJ, who played for Lewis and Clark, because I was training them. I was training a couple other athletes. Actually, I forgot her name now. I trained her. She's the female basketball coach now at Lewis and Clark. Nicole, maybe? No. I trained her. Okay. And she won, they won a championship too. So I was training athletes, and I trained athletes early in my career, even at FitQuest, boxers, but it wasn't where I focus on that. I'm like, I love doing it. It's a passion, but then I love this lady who works over here. So then I got Houston needed training. He called me to the house where Dame used to live with his family. We went through all the things I want to do. He goes, let's do it. And he came to train me. And he was telling his brother, hey, man, my guy, Jem, he's legit, bro. He does things in so different ways. And I never really felt. And Dame was like, well, I'm new in the league. We got the best of the best. Yeah. I'm doing my own. Right. So trained Houston for longer. And I trained a couple other family members. And when Dame reached out to me, he shoot me an Instagram message. He didn't go through his brother. Shows you again the character. Hey, bro, hook me up. Yeah. He goes, hey, man, I'm looking for core and boxing. Do you have availability? I'm like, yeah, sir. Absolutely, So he didn't even tell his brother, hey, I'm going to go train with him again. I do my own thing, right? I don't want it to seem like I came through somebody. I'm looking for a service. If you can provide it, I would like to try it. Yeah. And then, 1 season, 2, 3, I think it's 7 now, I think. Wow. And I think it's 11 years, so 7 or 8. And it's just crazy. And another thing is this. People used to tell me, hey, you train Dame, you got to charge more. I said, what do you mean? It's well, if he doesn't get a service that I provide that is more, how am I going to charge him more, I was like, first of all, I can't do that and look in the mirror where hey, for you it's this much, right, but you took the same hour as somebody else. Right. I got an hourly rate. Right. Right. Now you want the whole gym, that's a different story. But if you want this to this, and I never told him that before, and he took me to the fight in Australia. I've never been to Australia. Top notch, flying to Australia, fine dining, zoo, petting kangaroos, going to the fight, floor seats. But I said, people used to tell me this. And he goes, I said, I never told you. I'm like, I'm going to charge what I charge. You know what I mean? And Dame helped me in a lot of different ways through my life. But he goes, I knew what you charged. I asked people too. And if it was more this, I would still do it. But it shows character. He goes, but that's why you're sitting here at this Italian restaurant in Australia with me. Hey, so
that's real.
Little things, man, I'm going to charge you. He goes, I would have probably paid it. Yeah. But that sets us up for something, right? Again.
And that was you being you. When you think about it, right? That was you just being you.
100%.
When others were saying, well, he makes a lot, so you could charge more, but you decided to just be you.
Because he's getting the same thing. Yes.
I feel like this is the right thing to do. Like he's getting the same product, if you will, that this person is. So why am I gonna upcharge the product just because he makes more?
Correct.
But because of that integrity, that character, I assume a lot of that is what started to build some friendship and trust. That because you think, I mean, you know, you think about people that have resources, you know, and there's probably a lot of people that hit them up a lot. There's probably a lot of people that ask for this or ask for that.
It's endless, man.
And so to have people around that, you know, that just because they have, you're gonna just keep doing what you do.
Correct.
I hate to say it, but that's not common. That's not all over the place to find people that will just stand by that regardless. So I'm, you know, I mean, that's such a real story to say, like, yo, that's why you're here though.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, that's why we're
like,
eating at this restaurant, you know, like, and again, he knew, again, very sharp man, right? I mean, can see shit that you don't think he pays attention to it, but again, it shows you that I know I ask what it is, you know, like, just because I have it or not, like, and then now you giving me something different, I'm already going to be like, bro, what? You know, you said that was the price. Now I'm interested in it. It went up. That's not how you do things, man. I mean, if you stick to your product and what it is, and you have a price or whatever that is, or a time, or stick to those things, because again, that little difference, look at the changes it made. I mean, I was in commercials with him. I, you know, got a brand new ring through him. Like, I mean, see, these very, very great person, but I mean, do your thing and never need to ask for more than what it is. Like, I mean, still to this day, like, you know, I can ask him for tickets for the game or something like that, but I have to change my schedule to go and all that. Like, there's no reason, because I know his phone can be blown up with hundreds of people asking for things, and he still does a lot of different things. But it's nice that you can come to an establishment and talk to somebody and get a training in without something that is required of, because who you are, not who you really are, right? Of the facade of, like, I mean, you know, I'm Damian Lillard, you know, so
right.
Absolutely, like, you know, Yusuf Nurkic, I traveled with him to Bosnia and Croatia. Like, I trained him for like 2-3 weeks there. You know, I mean, so we have a program where I'm in a gym that I don't know things, creating it, changing things up. That was right before he signed that 2018 or some contract. So, but you know what I mean? You adapt to these different things, and you don't have the things you need. You got to do this is what I got. This is what we got to accomplish. It shouldn't change if the true character of you is you. Yeah. Man, I don't roll up with my car here and with the things how they should know me. I'm not going. I mean, hopefully without you not even knowing any of the trainings I do, we had a little connection of like the people we knew. If that's not enough, you approaching things differently in life that shouldn't, they're going to go to like a darker place, because now it's like, hey, that's Dame's trainer, right?
Right.
Now you get associated with that. Hey man, nice to meet you. You think you can hand this to him? You know what I mean? Now you're creating this thing of like I even talked to Houston about it. He's like, I'm Houston. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my brother, absolutely. But you can't just live life of, because it starts small and it gives you a big satisfaction. Come on in. You can get in the club. You know, now you became this thing. Now you feed that. Now more and more you're like, man, and if that would fall, I think Colin Powell, right? He said, don't let your position and your ego be at the same level, because if this falls, burp. So, you know, that's a great quote, because be you, like, absolutely. Like, that's what I do. But there's a person that comes with it, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't matter where I go to. That man, that was a nice guy. Who's that? Oh shit, I didn't know.
Yeah.
If you can do that,
that's
real magic power right there, in my opinion.
I mean, that's such good advice. it's hard to do, but I mean, yeah, the stuff you listed, and I'm sure there's much more that through the relationship with Dame, you had opportunities that you probably never would have received through that connection,
100%.
right? So all those people that said, "Well, just charge her more early on," he might have been like, "Oh, bro, this
cool,
this,
but-
you know, like." But I don't know if he would have like really let you in though. You know what I mean? Like
Correct.
really
There's a
like
difference, yeah.
co-sign for you on different things because it was like, yo, it was one way, but now it's a different way. Like,
now I'm a little confused. I still do my thing,
right?
but like you said,
Like, because then you might do that with this person that I put you on with, and then they might feel some kind of way because like,
now I'm the one who put you there. I'm not doing all that.
yeah,
Very true.
yeah, yeah. No, that's yeah. It is. It's so easily said, but you know, society will tell you otherwise. I mean, like this podcast for me, I don't really like being on camera. And so like on Instagram, you won't see me at all. And
But I see you, so
like, well, one of the ways I thought like for me to get to know people is like, you just meet me, like you have to meet me to like, and then we build, you know, rapport or whatnot, rather than me trying to put myself all over Instagram. I thought, well, I'll just make it about everyone else that's on. And then if I have character and integrity and treat people well, then they'll speak well of me, you know, and connect me with other people to continue, you know, to grow this. And so, but you know, I've had people tell me, well, you should make more videos of yourself so I can get more notoriety. And I'm not saying that that's wrong and people shouldn't do it, because I know there's definitely something about like a self brand. It's just not why I started this. I started this for people to share their stories, and it's just about that. It's not about, well, let me get a ton of FaceTime and make all these videos on me. That wasn't kind of the model, if you will, of what I wanted to do. But I've had plenty of people say that but it just didn't feel right. And I tried it. I made some videos and then I deleted them because I'm like, I don't like it. Like, it's just not me. I'll just meet people, you know, that I don't know. Or like Lacey, you know, connects, you know, hey, Jim, talk to him, you know, I'll just meet people that way and it'll grow that way. And my mind will continue to be blown because next time I talk to Lacey, I'll be like, yo, like I already kind of know him.
like, I knew more about this person than
Honestly, when I really think about it, I feel like the last time I was chopping it up with Adam, I was telling him about this a couple months ago, the podcast. I swear he said something about, yo, Coach Swin has a guy that's like training and really like growing up in that area. Like you should hit it.
confirm with him, see if you guys do, because that would be crazy.
I will ask him that, but I can, yeah. It just, now that I think about it, like, I feel like he said you were training athletes, not necessarily like Dame or anything in specific, but just like, hey, he's definitely training some athletes and, you know, own business from like scratch. Like that's definitely a story. I will ask him that to confirm that.
That would be crazy.
But yeah,
But look, what you just said, these are daily little things. Each day, I put like more fire into it, right? To be able to, when people, like if somebody tells you, man, or tells me, you do all these things, you should be having X amount of followers, this and that.
Yeah.
Bro, what does that even mean? Like really deep, if really that will define what I do, I swear on everything, we gotta like change your thinking a little bit. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna really think of how I'm gonna treat you based on what I thought you are on this, I got my shit wrong, man. That's not nice. So, but if you like if he said something like that, it's like, man, for the last years and years, you know, he's been doing this stuff, and I've been hearing it, or like he didn't do it for like a month or a year or something like that. Like now there's weight to it, right?
Yeah.
Like besides even all these young kids I trained, Major League Baseball, doing football. Houston told me, remember this guy? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, bro, he was in the combine. He's doing. I'm like, bro, I need to put that out there. I have footage of this somewhere. But it's like, you touch those feelings. Oh, another crazy thing. I was at this party after my 10-year anniversary, and Preston had the Gym Fitness shirt on, and I didn't. The gentleman goes, hey, is this Gym Fitness? And Preston's like, yeah. He goes, no, that's Gem. He goes, bro, I never met you. You trained my son for football when he was in college. And he spoke always so highly of you, the things you taught him. And I'm like, bro, I forgot about this kid. That's, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't stay in touch like that or something like that. He goes to his wife, come here. That's the guy, who trained. And I'm like, bro, if that is not powerful, and if you think there's no weight to that, again, I'm not cut for this job then. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, that's just so nice to hear, but I didn't do nothing special. Yeah. I just, the same things I talk to kids, like, you got to, like, you know what I mean? You got to forget the hype things, you know what I mean? Just train, you know what I mean? Daily deposits of, like, how to be better at this. You're going to have shittier days, like, just things. And then obviously, if you as a coach have a certain lifestyle and you do things, it shows too. You can tell what you want, and then here's like, bro, we heard you were out there doing this shit, Right. So again, it really, that validation is big time, where the father gets excited because your kid is the best. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, your kid is for you, it's the Damian Lillard, right? That's my kid who played football. Right. You know what I mean? Or like when I get parents bring their kids, they want their kids to be something, right? Which for them, that's the biggest athlete. That's like the biggest thing. And I want to give that attention to them. Now, if they really ask me, what do you think? I'm like, there's so many vectors if he's going to make it or not. It's not going to be based on if he's good at the sport. There's way deeper things. You got to like obsessed with these things that you want to become, that even it makes you so tired and upset, but you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of the obsession. I think that's how you can really make it. Like, if you try to throw it away, somehow it comes right back to you like a boomerang. Like, it's, fuck, okay, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Otherwise, it takes so much out of you. You sacrifice so much that you go like, it's too much for me, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to these dark places. Yeah. It's a lot of people expect this, fighter or this, but you really, you're like, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. Whatever it takes, I'm going to shoot that direction. And I admire that, because you sacrifice time, which is very valuable, relationships, a part of you. You give a part of you away sometimes because you could be enjoying, especially when you make money. I think Marvin Hagler said, it's hard to get up at 5 a.m. morning run in the Egyptian sheets that I have in my multi-million-dollar house.
Oh, okay? Man.
You know what I mean? Like, Dame used to come 7 a.m. every freaking morning. Lamborghini, this. I'm like, bro, when you make it and you got to get out of this warm bed, like, you go like, I can't take off today. I can't. I'm not going to be worse tomorrow. But you open that little door of that, whatever that feeling is. Yeah. So he goes like, nah, I got to do it. When we go like travel somewhere, we don't do crazy workouts in the hotel. No, it's not. We have to kill it or something. Yeah. We woke up, we go down, we do something, because I'm not going to open that door that makes me feel that I'm okay. You know what I mean? Because you will be okay. Mm-hmm. If you miss a couple, nothing changes. Mm-hmm. But you open something up in your brain that wants more of that. You think something's going to change if he doesn't do 2 of my workouts? Right. Hell no. Right. But whatever leaked into that little hole, ooh, that wants more of that. You know what I mean? And now you're feeding that more until it goes, how did I end up here? I'm freaking weak. Yeah. I'm not feeling it, because it became more and more. So that I learned that it doesn't need to be the craziest or hard or you're killing it. You just you gotta keep that up. Yeah. Yeah. Go to freaking bed at night, Emperor, okay? Marcus Aurelius wake up like a gladiator, try to fight for your life. You know what I mean? At night, I made it. I trained 6 NBA guys, trained 2 girls for a bikini show, made some money. I go wake up in the morning, that shit is gone. I got to be able to just say, okay, I got to fight again, get these people in. The moment that gets over your head, a day goes by, a week, a month, and you're like, bro, people ain't coming no more. Because again, the feeling is not there no more, right?
Right.
Man, he trained these guys. He don't pay attention to me no more. Well, they go to play basketball. Now those are the ones you got to still train.
Yep.
But they're not coming no more
Yeah.
because you were
That's
too
real.
big time trying
That's
to train
real.
these guys. So now, right?
Yeah.
So, make sure you available, not just like by training, but like, listen, because they have things going on in their lives and they want you to know. I had a mom who brings his son into the gym and he's not really into the gym. He works out, but not a gym guy. And she's standing there to see what I'm going to give, you know what I mean? And instead of saying like, hey, go do your thing, I got him, but it's like, okay, we're good, ready? Like that pride right there, that feeling, what's the difference of that person thinking that's the next big thing?
Right.
That's my son.
Right.
And he worked out with Jem and he learned a couple things. Man, that's magic right there. Again, if you can provide that to the guy that really, again, doesn't play nothing or do anything or can validate that for me in the athletic world, but he's going to grow up one day and be like, man, this guy helped me with these little things. You know what I mean? Like I was really not a gym guy and I'm outsiderish, but he showed me things and I liked it and I'm going to continue with that or whatever that is, right? So that's a full person who's dedicated to their craft 100% without the ifs and buts of what's cooler or what should I be or what should my persona be or something like that, So
Yeah.
it still blows my mind when I like see these things and I'm like, that's cool because for you, he's the greatest thing and
Yeah.
I'm feeding that, I'm showing him things and it makes you happy. But at the end, like it's not like then I also get people that bring me the next big thing. Hey, this guy in college right now, he's going to be, same shit. I'm going to
Yep.
pump it up just like I did that.
Yep.
And we get better, but it shouldn't change to me,
Right.
You
referenced Jaden Grant. I remember seeing him when I was helping coach Lake O. Was his freshman year, and I want to say he was on the freshman team his freshman year. I didn't know who he was. Maybe it was the JV team. I don't remember. But I remember I was like, yo, that kid's kind of nice. And
Basketball,
they were like,
right?
Yeah,
Because he
at
played
basketball. And they were like, oh, that's one of Brian's kids, Brian Grant. And I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea he was a football player. And so then as he got older, I heard a little bit more about football. Now at Oregon State,
Yep.
I coached a kid in basketball at Sprague, who was Jaden's teammate last year. He was a tight end for Oregon State. His name's Tegan Quintariano. He got drafted by the Houston Texans.
Okay.
And he played in his first NFL game last week.
That's crazy.
And the first drive of his first NFL game against my favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, he caught a touchdown pass. And I was texting him that day and like, it's just like
I watched
so
you on-
like it was just like so surreal because I literally texted him like a few hours before the game. I was like, yo, how's it going? And he wrote, about to play my first game. And I wrote, yo, go easy on my Eagles. And then the next day my wife was like, no way. She's like looking at her phone. I'm like, what? Because we had to go do something. She's like, Teague just caught the first touchdown pass. And I was like, stop it. And so I texted him an emoji like right then and there. But like, man, the feeling like how proud that, and I just had a tiny little piece of helping him in basketball.
But still, it's that.
But and like the love he's continued to show me, there hasn't been any like big time or what like, and just to show like and I wasn't even one of the like I said, I was like Coach Swin. I was just around the program. Hey, what do you guys need? I'm encouraging. How you doing today? Like, and for him to like, still treat me I'm like, man, that must have had an impact. Like, wow.
That's his character building and be able to be like, man, I know this person, and I like what he did. Now he's changing. A lot of things going to change, right? Money, this, that. And if you start losing that ground, again, that's when you go to dark places because stuff becomes more empty, right? So for him to hold on to these and text back or does build those characters, because it does something to him too, because your excitement of what you've seen gives him like, bro, he watched me, that feels good, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine like all the dudes that you work with to like see what that hard work, with when they start accomplishing, their dreams. It's something. I'm a parent now. I got a 12-year-old daughter, and I remember always hearing this from my parents of how the joy of watching, your kid or someone you feel like is like a kid to you, their success compared to like when I scored lots of points or whatever. Like that feeling, it's
animal,
like,
bro.
It's so different. It's so like, I like seeing Tegan score that and knowing like what he's been through. And there was quite some adversity and people feeling some kind of way about him and always just like championing him. And then seeing this success, and it's like, man, I was like more excited for him catching that touchdown pass than like anything I ever did in my career.
Because it's genuine through you, right?
Yeah.
Versus going like, man, I wish I would be up there because that shouldn't be your first thought, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when Dame signed the contract 280 or something like that, bro, I'm so happy. I'm like, bro, as much as it comes, you go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because it is nothing, you can't transfer this over to you because you're not in that picture or movie.
Yeah.
I hate when people, man, you have nothing to do with this, right? There is nothing to do with you giving him the love and credit instead of you saying, man, you know what? Has nothing to do with it.
Yep.
You made your choices in your life based
Right.
on it, but you've seen somebody you connected, helped, touched, being a part of it, do something amazing, and that gave you joy. And again, that's real life, real humble, real great things that makes the world go around and move things around. You know what I mean? So a lot of stories, even with Muhammad Ali, when I read in his book, the little things that made big changes, his autograph is worth a lot. He never, ever not gave an autograph. If he was busy, he had pre-signed, but never not gave it. Because I think it was, he waited at a nightclub after he won either the Golden Gloves or got actually the gold medal. So he's big time. Sugar Ray. He waits in his nightclub. He wants to meet him. He's excited. He want to tell him like, hey man, I'm going to be doing this. It was in New York or something. He waits. He comes in a nice Cadillac. Man, I'm Cassius Clay. And when he goes, kid, I don't got no time. Walks in. It just devastated him so much. He goes, well, if I ever make it, I'm never going to not sign. You know what I mean? So a little thing like that. You know what I mean? Because once you make it, you forget.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Once you make it, you ever watch Aladdin?
Yeah.
3 wishes.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, I will wish you get out. Nah, when you that one in second, bro, because that's my wish, right?
Yep.
That's a deep thing. You don't think of it this way. Like, I know you say that. Let me get my first, but you open that door. Let me get my second. Now, you know what I mean? Because these things grow. Whatever you feed is gonna grow. So the whole point of this is be able to grow these little things. If you make it, so you stay grounded with it versus because you get lost. I sometimes can, see athletes and I'm like, you go look at all the shit you got, but what is it?
Yeah.
Remember, there's something not there because you're not doing it. Another great story. I'm at Dave's house. We're watching boxing. Okay. Beautiful home, sitting relaxed. In the kitchen, wife, cousins playing cards, loud kids running around. Okay. Watching boxing, and I know he's chill, I can tell. I look around, I'm like, freaking badass house, the whole family around. I said, bro, you made it. This is what making is. Instead of don't touch. Bro, can you not touch that? That's fucking, I paid 10 grand for this. Hey, can you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No fucks given.
Right.
Just purely, that's making. That's when you say, if I had this, me and my boys, we hang out. But somehow when you make it, shit changes, right? Now you're alone in the house looking outside the window maybe, or you don't want nobody to touch your shit, right? But I'm like, this is making it, man. Watching boxing, you got friends over, people playing stuff, doing stuff, kids running around. I'm like, if that's not making it and you can afford nice things, shit. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that. I feel like if that was promoted more, like in society, like because what is promoted so much is the Lambo, and all the fancy stuff.
Of course, like, I mean,
but it's not the. Well,
not doesn't
we're
feed
all
him.
like we're all sharing this together. Like we're all eating together. Like that is the part. Like that's the part. Like the house
That's
could,
it. That's
like
it.
the house could be a little smaller and the car could be not as cool, but like we're still doing this all together, regardless of the success level. If that was the picture that we all painted, that's making it.
But more can do that, right? You with your friends, your family, you're at the house, you got a nice 80-inch screen. Again, everybody's doing good enough in life, but you hanging out. But again, that's not as promoted as much as like, man, if you ain't got this and all these things, you're still struggling. You're not making it, right?
Yeah.
But that is the picture of success feeling like, man, I'm hanging out with my kids, my family, my cousins are here. And, there's always a big shot in your, you know what I mean? This is a really big shot.
Right.
But there's always one like, hey, we're going to go to Tom's house. His screen better than mine, There's nothing wrong with it,
Right.
Shit, he got always good food. He buys the real cheese, not the shitty. So, he ain't making shit, but he does a little bit more. So that's making it, right? I mean,
Right.
I'm going to go to Germany, and my dad's goal was all his three kids, because we all live here, to be together again, all together. Because it's either I go or my sister goes. And I'm like, I'm going to make that happen. Bro, the joy he's going to get, I can give him 10 jerseys, damn little money. Like, it doesn't mean nothing. He's looking forward to this moment. Like, his three kids of his own blood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's making it, bro. If that's not making it, then, you know what I mean? I made it. Like, I can take them. We're going to go hang out. And so those are, oh, man, I didn't get a same house as them. I'm not making it.
Right.
That's not my life. That's not my dream. That doesn't mean I'm not trying to be successful or something like that. But that doesn't do stuff to me because I'm on my own road, right?
Yep.
That's my road.
Yep.
Getting some little that is like that. That's big time, So again, those are little things that if you can step just a little bit back and look around, you'll be like, I am actually happy. But if you're in it and the train is going in front of you and you just get too amped up and you're looking forward too much forward back, just slow it down and look around and you're like, man, today was not the best, but the day before I had a good day and let me try tomorrow to be better again. Like it's okay to have these little feelings, but step back a little bit sometimes because you get aroused by too many negative things, like you said, social media, people saying, man, if you don't get this, then, if you don't get that fight or if you don't become a boxer, you're done, bro. Now you associate me becoming a boxer, I don't have friends. I'm going to get depressed. I'm a dark place. Versus like, man, you're my boy. I'm gonna help you to become this. If not, we go back to the house and just hang, right? I mean,
Right.
that should be more promoted too. Like,
Right.
yes, push your friend, become it, but don't make that the identity of what it is, man. If you don't get that job or if you don't become this, you failed in life, Now he's feeling like without that, then I'm maybe make up lies. Man, I got it or whatever, right? Then you're living a life that you really, again, you're not being authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
So just, if you don't like me for what I do, who I am, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But don't try to impress with it because that's a long road of like, you can never impress somebody if that's what they really want from you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you got this, he got this.
Right.
There is no end to the game.
Right.
But if I like you for who you are, shit, I don't care what it is.
Right. Speaking of that, like talking about a friend and like pushing your friends and whether you get it or not, like kind of my small circle, I text them last night a few things that I'm working on in the podcast, you being one of them. And I was like, yo, tomorrow I'm looking forward to meeting Jim and, what Lacey's told me about, and just figured like what Preston told me about on Sunday when I talked to him, but figured this will be an interesting story coming from another country, like my business partner coming from Russia, like some of those kind of stories are like, they're interesting to me because like I didn't, I just grew up here. And so some of those different things, learning the language, all that kind of stuff, like what you said before we started recording about dreaming in another language. Yeah. Like I've never even heard that. I've never even thought about like, if I learned another language and then would I dream differently or would that look different? So stuff like that like I would never think about because I was born in here. But anyways, I got to read this text because what you were saying is like literally what my boy, John Broussard, where is it at? What he said last night that so resonated. So I sent a few things about like, here's some of the cool stuff I'm working on, blah, blah, blah. And John, who's killing it right now. He's a 80 at a big Southern California high school, just authored his first book, starting to speak. I'm going to have, whenever he's back up here, I'm going to do an episode. He's doing great. But he wrote, in 20 years, I have never felt this level of passion from you, Trav. You didn't even like hoop this much. But that makes me happy that you're in this space. Keep going. And so it's not a destination. It's just like he could tell whatever this is, like, yo, you really loved it. Like, and he loves seeing that about, and it won't matter who I talk to. He loves that I'm just passionate about this.
That's amazing.
And I thought about that when you were saying like pushing your friends and, even if they don't get the job or get the interview or get the whatever, that's not even really the goal. The goal is like, just keep going. Just keep pushing.
I'm going to support you as the person to go that direction because you don't want to also pull people back because you don't want them to leave. That's another thing not good. But, man, this is what you want. I'm going to push you through it. And if that didn't work, I'll help you try another way because you my friend.
Yeah.
If friends hanging out, friends is a weird thing too because I 100% choose to have you as a friend. Mm-hmm. Family is like, that's my uncle. Right. And if he wasn't my uncle, I probably wouldn't like him as an uncle or my brother. But friendship, like you go, I'm going to kick it with you, bro, because I like you. Like you said, when you were it's 100% decided by you. And then the reception has to be 100% to be able to do it. That's like even more than a relationship sometimes, with a significant other, because friendship is like, man, I can choose many. I can, but that's so, if you have those, and I think if you're going through times, if it's like, that's why like there's more depression because people there's not real friendship. And what I mean with that is they're not real, is like, they're so worried in their own mind what's going on that I don't even know I didn't even know you were struggling with that. Mm-hmm. You might have told me, but I'm just so aroused by what's going on that I don't even know really, versus like, I didn't know, if you hear your friend talking out and you go like, hey, let's talk more about this, bro. Like, I want to listen to you. Maybe I can help you with it. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for opening up for me with that versus if you I'm going to tell you another thing why I think that's important in my business too. When I have to train somebody, I got to be physically, mentally there. I can't be under the influence of some alcohol. Mm-hmm. My mind over there with dealing with somebody. You ready? Okay. Because if you're not there, you can't be as successful, in my opinion. Really, that's my belief. Because I have to give you, I got to believe that I'm going to give you my time. I'm not under influence on something. I'm clearly here. I want to make you better. I have to pay attention to your body because I'm like, hey, why? This looks tight. Why? Oh, you were out yesterday. You were running after your kids. Okay, I got to change that. But if I don't pay attention, nothing will happen maybe that day. But again, I'm just losing more and more of bro, I didn't know. Well, remember that one time I said it was a little bit, but you're just not there. You're there, but not. So friends or family or even my niece. I have a niece. When she was young, I'm like listening to her, but I'm texting. But she goes, "No, pay attention." I'm like, "How do you know?" I'm kind of acting like I am, but I wasn't. So it's like, okay, I'm down. Show me again what you're gonna try to show me. But those are little things that as adults we don't do it because
Right.
you're like, I'm not gonna tell you because I want you to do it on your own.
Right.
But if you have a friend and you can be such a big help if it's mental illness or if it's depression or anything like helping decision making. If you listen, you can be like, "Hey, tell me more about this." Cool. Yesterday was fun, but tell me again more. Now you opened up things and you made that little spark even bigger. So if you can do that, and hopefully if you do it, somebody will do that to you. So now you're not just always giving out, you're also giving it because everybody's like, "Man, thank you. I appreciate it. I needed that. So, I mean, that's deep when it comes to today's society with youth or whoever. Like, we've gone through COVID too. People struggled. Like, there was a lot of depression with things, and we got to hold together to be able to, we're just passing through this earth. Like, it ain't mine or yours. So keep it kind, but also the time involved in it. You're not going to take from my time if I help your time to be a little better.
Right.
It's not going to take from mine. So I think that's something that gets overlooked sometimes,
Yeah.
especially in my profession too, like more than a trainer.
Would you want to grow would you want to have, you've made the comment a few times where people say, and I guess I understand why they say this to you, but they say, you could have more followers, you could charge more, you could have more because of the clientele that you're having and that notoriety with them. Would you want to have more gyms? Like, would there be a loss of like, well, I can't like control all this stuff, like what makes some of this great is like literally you,
Correct.
like that connection. I'm curious how you feel like when people say like, well, you could have more, whatever.
I think what would be nice to do is I need to like train people because that keeps my blade sharp. That makes me happy. But I think more and more like, when I went with Dame to Weber State, he talked and then he wanted me to talk too. And kids came up and be like, "Man, that helped me a lot, what you said." And I didn't really write nothing down. You know what I mean? I just stuff that is in my mind. And I'm like, what is if I feel that more? What is if I actually do a PowerPoint with shit that I will make you walk out of there like you can run through this building? You know what I mean? So if these little things I do made a difference, maybe I can, this next year I would like to focus on maybe building that and maybe helping. Because if I can make, again, 30, 40 kids listen to you, athletes, and one said, "I'm going to take this and do it," boom, there is your success. Not all of them going to be not even really fully there. They're listening to you. The other half is like, okay. And there's the few goes like, "Bro, I needed this and I'm going to take action of it right now." And then if they do speak to you right after and you feel one more thing, boom, that makes a difference. So if I can do that, then I can do it more in like a place where I actually bottled it up more versus like, yeah, you want me to talk? Damn, I talk, It's
Right.
like, holy shit.
Right.
Formula Zero camp, little talk, boom, boom. But I don't really plan it. It's just whatever,
What about like a podcast? Something where it would be planned, where you would be presenting information or something you've set and
Correct.
thought
Like I
about
said,
and,
there's no difference of
Yeah.
where you bottled it and you just
Right.
go, and these are the things I want to talk about. And then you basically all your things in your brain are organized more, right? So, and I'm like, I would love to fuel that more.
Yeah.
So more gyms, I don't know,
But more spreading the education.
education and be able to help with those changes, right? Because I'm like that where 2-3 people can tell me something, it really doesn't do shit. You're not getting that out of me, right? Even if they don't mean it in a bad way, you just don't do it to me.
Yeah.
But then there are some people I'm like, fuck, you seen that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be anything fame-wise. It's just like, fuck, bro, I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they just trigger that. And I think I can do that with people, and I would love to, again, fuel that more. I think that'd be nice. And I don't know where it will take me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking from 5, 10, hundreds, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think like that either. Like, it's another thing. Maybe it's more European, or maybe it's just me. I get that a lot too. So now I'm gonna ask you, what is your next year goal?
Yeah.
What is your 5-year goal? Bro, I have no idea. Zero idea. And I know,
Yeah.
don't follow what I do. But every day or every year, shit got better
Yeah.
with how I do it. So I don't do that like if I look at like, okay, I want to, again, maybe I should learn that, but I don't look at it like okay, that's my,
I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't, because the way you describe your life is a lot better description than a lot of people.
shit.
And so I'm more like what you're saying, like, because I have people telling me now, like, do this with the podcast, do that, like, well, you know, like, wow, this is starting to become something, you know. But I'm like,
Fuck, I like
I don't
it.
know, like, you know, I really have been doing this as a hobby, right? The only reason I even want to monetize it is because, first off, the guy that does all my video editing, he's a good friend of mine. I've known him since I was 12, 13. He does everything for free. He does everything for free because he understands like what we're trying to do here and spread positive message and let people share their story. He's got 5 kids. He's got a 40-hour day job. He does photography and wedding stuff during the wedding season, and he's doing all this. I download it all, give it to him. He puts it together, right? So
a lot of work, too.
It's a ton. So me wanting to monetize is like pay him some money, add some other people just to grow it, just so I could do it more. Just so there's, you know, so
But
many.
it has to start this way, man.
Right. No, I know.
And
Like
that's the beauty. Like it's
I know, like I will look back, I tell like my wife and Daniel, and I'm like, sometimes when I'm doing, you know, when I say everything, I don't, Daniel edits, but everything else, like I said, when you leave, I'm going to pack up all this stuff, put it in my car, drive it back to my office in Salem. I'm going to set it back up tomorrow. I got another interview Thursday. I'm going to download all, you know, right now I'm the lighting guy, the camera guy,
Behind the scenes,
right?
man.
But like I understand it has to be this way. It has to be this way. To really, you know, I don't know, like, but I don't mind it. This is something I enjoy. I don't mind it. Like I've actually liked learning a little bit about the camera and the you know, like I gained some knowledge that I didn't have otherwise. But one day, will it be nice to have other things? Yes, just so I could do more of it. That's it isn't like I want to just get so wealthy doing it's. I finally found something that I'm so passionate about, and I think it matters. I think these conversations matter.
I think you matter. I matter. Those
Yeah,
you know,
like I think it matters.
people who listen to it matter with be able to take some from this and maybe improve their well-being, you know?
Yep. Yeah. That's what's like. I just think it matters. There's some stuff that I do that I'm like, whether I do it this way or that way, I don't really think it matters. This, I think it matters. And so I want to do it more. And I want to
awesome.
I want other people to share their stories, regardless of their platform. You know, like it doesn't matter. And so, you know, I do eventually want to monetize it. You know, but, you know, just, I don't, it's been a trip. Like this process, it hasn't been going on that long, but now coming and, you know, shout out to Lacey. And Lacey, I don't know when this will air. I hope you're feeling better whenever you listen to these words. I saw your post today. We visited you a couple days ago. I hope whenever you're listening to this, you are more encouraged and feeling better. And I'm very thankful for you. So is my wife. And she is one tough cookie. She told us everything that went on in that procedure. She showed me a video of her open chest cavity with her heart beating. It is
People
something.
don't know the value, even what life means if you have these visions, and if you like how amazing it is to even just be alive and fight for things, and you know what people go through, and they look at you and they go like, man, I've been through all this. Why don't you not doing it? Sometimes, unfortunately, you got to go through this. Not that particular, but
Right.
like to be able to say,
Right.
man, whatever I do from now on, I'm going to proceed differently.
Right.
You know, like I want to be there for my kid, or like, because you don't expect these things sometimes, you know, and it can almost cost you life, and then you think a little differently. You know, I hope, why can we not think differently sometimes before things happen, right?
Yeah.
So
She was training me and my wife Wednesday night, and she went to her doctor's appointment. This is 2 Wednesday nights ago. She went to her doctor's appointment the next day, and I have told my wife since. I told Lacey this when we seen her. I was like, "Yo, next time one of my friends is like going to the doctor the next day, like I'm gonna hug them." Like we didn't hug her that night. Like I didn't even, cause she didn't think that appointment was gonna be what it was. She thought they were gonna run some tests, and that maybe there might be a stent that needs to be put in to help the blockage. But they did the angiogram, and then she, on the screen, she watched as they put like the ink, the dye in there to like go into your heart and see, and all of a sudden it just stopped.
that didn't even go.
It wasn't going through her wherever in the heart that it was supposed to. And then all of a sudden, she said there's like 10 people in the room. The doctor was like, we're going to stop right now. We're going to remove this. And I guess he was like, Lace, we're going to get you cleaned up. And then I'm going to talk to you about the next steps. But you're not leaving the hospital. And so just like that, where she thought they're going to check this out, you know, probably come back at some point, do a little stint. The doctor literally said, you are a ticking time bomb. One was 100% blocked, and 2 others were 99% blocked. And so they thought they might have to do quadruple bypass, but they did triple bypass. But just like that, he was like, you're not leaving, and you're about to have open heart surgery. And I mean, it is, when you talk about appreciating life, and I haven't had someone, I don't think, in my life, and she's young, she's 33, fit, not the typical, like you don't like, and I've never had someone like where literally I was so close to them, like I literally saw her the night before and trained, and then she could have died. Like they were like, you could have died, had a heart attack one of these times and just died. And so, man, that I just wanted to speak about her and encourage her whenever she's listening to this. Hopefully she's, you know, I don't know, another month or so when it comes out, feeling better. I know she's struggling right now, especially mentally. You know, she gained so much ground in her fitness journey, you know, so then to lose, you know, whatever strength or whatever that she will to, you know, get it back. And I talked to her about maybe doing a documentary on her rehab and kind of showing the progression, because I know she'll get it back, and I know she'll be back in the gym grinding.
Better than before because of the strength she had to go through this. You know, it's going to build some different layers for sure.
Yeah. So thank you, Lacey. I'm going to ask Jim your question now. You're the only person I'm going to say the name of the person. So I did that thing on social media where I said, what questions should I ask Jim? And so Lacey was being funny. And she wrote, so I didn't know you were like an actual boxer. But her question yesterday when she responded to that led me to believe that you and Preston have been boxers or were boxer. She just wrote with the funny emoji, who would win in a boxing match between Preston and Jim? That was her question for you.
100% me, Preston. You fucking know that. If that answers your question, Lacey.
How did Jim become known for the best glute training?
Who's asking that?
Preston.
Oh, I told you. I mean, it didn't start off like, again, it's so crazy. Like, I meet guys sometimes when I go to like an event that's like somebody throwing an athlete or something. Bro, you made Portland better with the glutes or something. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, what? There is no, I guess I didn't wake up and say that's what I wanted to do. I told you I used glute training back in the day and still today for performance, right? Athletic performance, be able to rotate and be able to use the biggest muscle. There's the glutes to generate power and force, or even like football or anything, right? Then I had some couple, and I did not train. I trained a lot of girls in Arizona too, but not competitors. Zero. I did bodybuilding shows in Oregon. I didn't do it in Arizona. It was more like athletics and functional training. It went from one girl training to, hey, I know this competitor who needs glute training, to literally known like husbands sending me their wives to be like, hey, I need you to train my, you know what I mean, my wife. Like literally there was a time if I had a class of 10 people there, like 8 were training glutes. Shorts on, looking at the glutes, like, you know what I mean? I was being involved in like helping them at the shows, and it involved without, I can tell you, like, I wish there was a fast speed camera, you know, like the speed ones where pop, 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 you know, and then I think it also, when you get those results and you change somebody that didn't have the glutes to have glutes, and more and more and more, and there's multiples. Now people pay attention and be like, this is not a one-time thing.
Right.
What is he doing
Right.
that works? That's why when I released that online program, it's like, I still do it today, of course, but it's not as, it was crazy, you know? Like, I had people writing me like, I'm 55 years old and I took second in my show because your glue program, like, it transformed the way, because I used, it's all training, but I wanted a couple things I focused on. Mind-muscle connection, to make them really, when I did that video and talk, like, you don't tell me it's working. Find it. Find it. When you squeeze it, find it. Okay, stand up right now. Get up. Squeeze them. What do you feel like, you know? So making them have a mind-muscle connection, because with glutes, for example, in females, they're like, I think I'm working it. When you do a bicep curl, you can feel the burn.
Right.
With the glutes, it doesn't work like when girls go, like,
true.
I got a glute pump. I feel my glutes, right? So, and then using all the 3 planes of motions, sagittal, frontal, and rotational plane, to be able to train it. So I threw a little bit more athletic things into that behavior versus just bodybuilding type, right? Combine those things, again, making sure that they understand what I want to teach. But it was more, not just the exercise I used, me being involved in a video chat with everybody I sold the program to online, because in one-on-one training, I train you. I get to touch you and feel.
Right.
We talking.
Right.
So with this, to be able to be like, listen, don't just do it like thing. You got to feel. You got to be able to like connect with it. And then when you train, like, don't have your mind all over the place. Like, try it, because you want to get better at this, but you got to put your focus there. You can't just say, I did train, I did move the weight. No, you know? So, yeah, it just, a little bit, the success of them winning at shows and having big transformations, people pay attention, right? Like, hey, I want that.
Right.
You know, like, I want to go there. I want to go there. And then everybody who, you know, in Oregon mostly came to my gym. Of course, not everybody, but majority who did shows and were IFBB pros. I had at least, I don't know, 3 to 5 girls turn pro, become a professional IFBB pro girl, like, while they were in my gym, maybe even more. And it's just nice to see that journey. So
another question is, what's the hardest part about training in an elite athlete?
The hardest part of like training that?
Yeah.
Making them be present when you're training them. And what I mean with that is to be able to, when an athlete comes in, even a just normal person, there's a lot going on in your mind. Especially with an athlete, I think it gets more magnified a little bit, in my opinion. You know, if they're doing business, they do something bigger. If they're dealing with a someday set, more people heard it, right? So be able to make sure that, hey, and I know you got this, but let's focus on this if you can, you know? Be able to get that out without the words, make him then listen to you, that you're there to make them better. I think that's the hardest, because if you don't see it, they're so good in training. you'll miss that they had a shitty day or they're dealing with something. But if you're freaking good and elite, I see that and I'm like, nah, that's not how you normally do. Damn, what's going on? You know what I mean? Now I get the character out and this happened. I either use it to fuel it or I turn it to another way, depending on what I just found out. You know what I mean? Like, depending on what that was, it's like, you got to be careful because if I use it to fueling, if it doesn't work, now I got to take a couple steps back.
Yeah.
Or I go to something different and be like, hey, like a different direction to be able to think. Because it's the exercises you choose, the program, absolutely important, but there's more that can provide that to be able to get them in that moment, to be able to say, I'm here, I need this, and I got to get better, and I got to train, I got to improve. That's hard, in my opinion. I mean, even when I watch Coach Phil, which is Dame's basketball coach that I'm good friends with, they can come by and he's a little bit more verbal than me. You know what I mean? We all do different ways, right? I mean, I get shit out of you, but it's not just by provoking or it's not by thing. It's just me being how I do it, especially when I train professional fighters. It's a tough sport. It's a lonely sport, right? You are with your team, but you're by yourself, and got the runs, and you're to be able to bring him in that moment of that day. Dave, I know, you got to see your kid. I know, let's get this training session in. I know it's 8. I know it's the third one, but I need you.
Yeah.
Can we just, and then,
Yeah.
now I got a little bit out of him because otherwise it's like motion you're just going through, right? Yeah, we hit the bag, I sweat it. That's not enough if you want to be elite. So when you're training that and you don't acknowledge that, but you see it, you can become a good coach. If you don't see it, maybe you won't become a good coach because you don't see it.
Yeah.
But if you see it and you don't feed it,
Yeah.
it's going to become a little probably like, man, I see it, but I'm afraid to say it.
Yeah.
It's not a good place to be as a coach, right? I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
like if I'm in a different spot with an athlete and I've seen a change because of the people that were in that particular area had more influences, critique after the workout, and I'm like, well, we didn't do fully. What do you mean we didn't do fully? I mean, your mind is not fully here. I know we trained, but I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Well, I showed up, I did this. I'm like, don't get mad. I'm just telling you. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? Like, because then I'm feeding the ego or something like that. Yeah, champ, we did it, champ. No, you were distracted. Being elite is hard. So a little distraction, a little bit of this. You had business deals. I don't care, right? I mean, I don't care what you had to do.
Right.
I'm here for that job.
Right.
Now, if you want me to shut this job off, today was a great day. We had coffee. But if you're asking me about what we're doing, I can't bullshit you. You know what I mean? Because, we did some, but we didn't do something what we actually could.
It wasn't elite.
So,
Yeah.
because elite is a whole different level, man.
Yeah. That makes sense. Benefits of incorporating boxing workouts in younger athlete training?
Huge. Couple things. Let's stick to the things that it can help you in your other sport, right? Hand-eye coordination. When we do boxing training, especially when it's mitts, where I'm holding it and I'm calling out, almost impossible for you to think about something different, especially if that's not your full sport. You're extremely with me. It's fourth quarter, 1 minute left, that same intensity, constant in boxing. That's why there is no sport like boxing. Not one split second you're like,
That's true.
in basketball, if the thing is over there,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I can take a little second.
Yeah.
It's impossible to do that in boxing. It will cost you, and you can get knocked out.
Yeah.
So the hand-eye coordination, ability to think 1, 2, 3 under. So thinking ahead, right? Shot, move. It's not just, you see how hard that was? Bro, you just told me how hard it was and I punched you 3 times. Move. You did something not right, forget about it. Move on. a shitty punch. Don't tell me, no, keep going. Transfers over to bad basket. Move on. Don't give me no reactions. Good shot. Don't give me no good reaction either.
Right.
So if you train it the same way, pop, I caught him. I'm going back again in. I missed it. I'm going back in again. So it's not one side better than the other. Neutral. You keep working. So with boxing, be able to have footwork, moving, again, hand-eye coordination. Boxing tiredness is also a little bit different, right? So it digs a little bit different thing out of different athletes, like basketball, young guys. Man, I got you, man. I got you. Like, okay, let's do some mitts. They want to hug you or stop. No, keep your hands up. It's different, right? There is no resting thing, so it digs a little bit more out of you. So I think it will help you with that. Now let's go on the side of as a man, no matter what sport or what it is, the ego, me protecting myself, me standing up for myself because I want to be a sissy or whatever. If you learn the combat of punching, where to hit, chin, be able to drop somebody, sore legs, you know what I mean, liver, how you can literally take somebody's breath away. You learn these things, you probably would do it less. Like, man, leave me alone, you know what I mean? Or I get into a stand, is okay, I'm not dealing with you no more, right? Because you won't have that thing where I gotta fight, because man, if this continues, I'm gonna hurt him, but I really don't need to or want to. So maybe that can stop the escalation of I don't want to deal with this. But if you don't have that, you got to search for something to find where I'm a man, and then you go into something, right? So, I mean, everybody in my family, I want to teach them how to throw a punch. My niece is the nicest person in the world, but she knows where to hit and how to hit, and I'm okay with that. Again, hopefully you never use it. I also know that when you're walking and somebody is across and they have some bad intentions, how you stand up and how you talk and how you, maybe not that one.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So those make a difference, and those I learned because of the trust of the skill set you might have.
Yeah.
So, but overall, in just youth athletes to be able to understand what it is, if you can educate somebody, there's a sport out to it. It's not just fighting of thing, so it's something that in a certain family shouldn't be discussed. No, we don't hit people. We don't. But unfortunately, it goes into this world where it's accessible and people do it.
Yeah.
Now you're confused. My parents said that doesn't exist, but it actually exists.
Yeah.
So knowing it and be able to be hey, you would only use things to protect yourself, your loved ones, or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. So, and if I fight somebody, it's better than carrying a gun.
Yeah.
Or doing something that because you didn't have a skill set, you use something, tomorrow my jaw hurts, but I can live another day.
Right.
Versus, so, but if you don't have that trust in the hands or whatever you think, I need to find it somewhere, right? Whatever that is. Now, if I'm not calling these things out. I'm just saying, if it's not there, I need to find something. But if you have it, you're man, when shit goes down, I'm gonna use the things I learned, and hopefully that squashes the beef most of the time. It's hey,
Yeah.
I'm okay with you, and it's sad, unfortunately, as long as we're alive, that's a part of the society, but again, it's not about violence. It's about knowing that if that's a part of the living things we do, I'd rather know it how and never use it versus the other way around.
Right.
I think there's another quote. He says to the samurai, you always talk about war, but you in your garden, you live in peace. He goes, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than be a garden as a warrior. So, right? It makes sense. He's not trying to do anything,
Right.
but he knows how to do shit.
Right.
So,
Right.
But overall, I think it's also mentally pretty good because, again, it keeps you in that moment. You can't think about something.
Yeah.
So it releases different endorphins than man, do I need to buy milk today? Shit, I don't know what. You know, you're
Right.
thinking about,
Right.
God, I got to like text that person.
Right.
You boxing, you free for that moment. You like, you know, like anxiety doesn't exist for some people. And I'm telling you these things because people told me that. They're like, man, for that moment, I feel like free and I don't deal with things. Thank you so much. And I'm like, shit, that's another appointment.
Yeah.
But for them, that was like, that day is safe because of that.
Yeah.
But I got tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that's pretty deep too.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was when you said that when Dame first reached out to you, he reached out in the context of boxing and core, if I remember
Correct.
that right.
Yeah, I went to boxing and core workouts.
And I've seen him, you know, on different stuff with boxing, and I have thought like, you know, what, and I've seen other athletes doing that too. That's
Kobe
not
did
their.
it too back in the day.
That's right.
Hand-eye coordination did in the mids.
Okay, and I've wondered, like, you know, outside of just what I would assume, what really are some of those? Why are they training in this way when this, you know, seems like it has no correlation to
Versus
basketball.
versus that. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Why did Dame reach out for that?
First of all, Dame loves boxing.
Oh, okay,
He knows more about boxing sometimes than my ass. Like,
okay,
who's upcoming, or he watches fights that most people watch big fights.
yeah,
Other than that, you don't really pay attention if you're not a fan.
yeah,
You know, he goes to fights, he watches, he is involved in it, likes to see this fight coming with this. So
Gotcha.
he loves boxing, but he also liked that as a, you know, there was a couple camps we did way more of boxing and mentally, you know what I mean? And I think another thing, maybe I forgot to talk on it, is when you frustrated as a boxer, you're screwed. Okay? The moment I can feel that, it takes the snap out of your punches. It's, you know, in the basketball world, it happens a lot.
yeah,
But you're not really screwed, but you don't play good, right? The other one can cost you a loss or a knockout.
Right.
The other one, we might still win, but he learned from situations like this. Is like, you're not going to get into me like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's because it brings that out of you. Like, you're frustrated, can't connect. Or if you would spar or something like this, like, I'll keep touching you. You're upset. You're not landing your shot. Now you're fighting with, now I can see every punch coming because it's not smooth anymore. It's not, you know, elusive. It's not beautiful, because boxing, if you really watch, again, when people see just punching people, but you can just literally see somebody's like, I seen all that coming, you know, I throw the jabs and I'm going to go low, but I'm going to come up high now. So you just set these things up in boxing, and it's very hard to just knock somebody out with that one punch. Is the one he didn't see coming. Is like, for 6 rounds, right? He throws the hook. 6 rounds. So I'm blocking up high. Now I'm getting tired, right? He goes like this. I go here. Boom. Damn. I didn't see it coming because I really think it's coming here. I'm exposed, but you set it up for 6 rounds. Just, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to catch you. And I'm like, okay, now he tricks you. Like, so all these things are set up, and it's, you know, either I got frustrated or I didn't see it coming, but that can help transfer to other sports, because the moment you're frustrated, you know, excitement and calm in the same thing. That's what boxing is. Excitement, calm, be able to see it. Basketball, excitement, calm. Try to do the same shot with the excitement you did. It's going to go over. Do it calmly in the beginning. The ball is gone, right? Excitement to a little calm. You got to be aware of the situation. So that's why, man, I'm so fast. Why am I not this athlete? Because it's a bridge of these two chemicals constantly. Relaxed. So, right? You tell me to play basketball. So it's, you know, look at something you're going to do, get by you, you know?
Yep.
So if you can do that, and you can do it without missing a beat, it's hard to guard you, right? Like, he did it once, but he couldn't do it the 7 times. He's keep doing it. I can't stop it.
Yeah.
I'm eating this jab in my face.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's fast. It's slow.
Yep.
The speed is different. I don't know how to guard him. You know, like, you know, it's like every time I do it, there's no, He doesn't get tired. He doesn't do things. He's constantly on it, and that requires elite physical, elite mental. You know, like you, of course, you're feeling tired, but you go like, no, it's not gonna be me. It's gonna be you.
Yeah.
To go in the ring, one knows that I'm gonna come out beating you. You know, they both think it, but one says, no, I'm gonna come out beating you
Yeah.
because of my training, of my dedication, of what I went through is better than yours.
Yeah, that's I think last week when I was helping coach, one of the post girls did this little. She was down the post, did this little fake to the right, quick, nice little boom, and got her defender to go. But then with that same speed, went up with it and blew the layup. And I was like, hey. That move was fantastic, but you can't keep that same speed
Excitement,
when you're going.
calm. No different, right?
Yep, when you're going to score, it can't be the whole
Yes,
thing.
can't be the
you
whole
got
thing.
her, you know. Where if she went slow the first time, she ain't gonna get her right with the move. But like quick move, but then slow down to finish that thing. Yeah,
So ain't no difference, right? I slipped the punch, smooth, boom.
Yeah.
Back to, I don't know if he's gonna fall. Back to relax, be able to see. Because if you're too excited, oh shit, you get knocked out. Because you're like, this dog was getting scared, looking all over. Gotta find that calm again. So if you can, that's why, like, instead of teaching a young athlete, their dads go, jump, jump, jump. Can he land? Let me see if he observes. So shitty. Why am I going to teach him jump? You know what I mean? Run. No. Can he stop? I'll make him go down a little bit of hill. Can he stop? If he's all over the brakes, expensive cars, you can give me a same car with the same horsepower, but the other one has the better brakes. There's a reason why. You know?
Yeah.
There's a reason why there's ceramic rotors that are thicker, bigger, because you got to stop it back down. So,
yeah,
you know, be able to land, learn these mechanisms, because then you will jump better.
yeah,
So again, everybody wants to, let me punch hard. Can you punch and pull back the arm versus just being there? You know, can you change direction and move? Right? You do one, but the other one, and I tell him, no, it's not good. I see it. No, quick, change the direction, jump up, little sidestep, and their mechanism don't work, right? Because they're so used to just that power, but putting together in life is what gets you there. 1, 2, 3. I got to score. So, and there's still luck involved in that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It has to still
yep,
happen, but all your mechanism were at least the best possible. So now you got to finish it through. But if you don't have that in athletics, I think it's tougher.
yeah,
And that's just now you'll be able to do it. Now we zoom out. There's mental. There's, some say some fights are lost in the locker room before you come out. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
so now that's a whole nother chapter of thing, right? But you got to have the physical ability to do it, but you need that mental part to be able to let you do it. Sometimes people do so much physical that their mental doesn't allow it. And I do know people, their training is not the best, but they got so much of the other one. But when it comes to the round 12 against somebody elite, you still lose.
yeah,
But at least you're like, man,
yeah,
he's getting it out there. But when you get up to that top, you need to have all the combinations.
Yeah.
Because something is going to get exposed, and you're like, shit,
yeah,
I'm running out of gas.
Right. right,
He still has gas, but I'm still mentally tough.
right,
But the gas is going out and it's showing by the last pieces, right? Like I got by quicker because I couldn't react as fast. So it's nice to see, and when you talk to different coaches, I take so much more input because I want to learn. Like, what did you do? You know what I mean? Like, how is this? Or, NBA coach, basketball, strength coach, head coach. I just want to know little things
Yeah.
because I just want to see what they do, and you can't get good information without going into depth too, right? Man, we always do this. Why would you do that, sir? Well, because of this. Damn, I wouldn't think that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, drill on that for a long time versus
Right.
trying to have this deep conversation why the ball has to be round or something,
Right.
right? Just take that and be like, I'm going to play with that.
yeah,
When I read books, I don't know last time I finished a book, but I have hundreds of them open because I read something and go, bro, I'm gonna like play with this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just input that goes in and doesn't get used, and half of it gets washed out.
Yeah.
But that's how I read. Maybe other people are different, but I'm like, I'm gonna mess with this for a little bit.
Yeah.
Does this really work? But to see it work, I need 20 of these people for 3 months to do it. So that's how I read, and then I can make the notes, okay, or add to it or something like that. That's how my brain works. Otherwise, I just take all this information, I can tell you about it, but was it really used like that?
Yeah.
You got to use it,
Yeah. Well, man,
What a day, huh?
this has been great.
I appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate you. This is oh man. Yeah, this just talking about some of the Lewis and Clark stuff. It's
Brought you back to a spot where you didn't think we are gonna sit down and go
No.
there.
that's what I'm saying, right? Like I knew I would hear stuff about you that obviously I didn't know. That's usually what this is.
Yeah.
I'm learning stuff about people. But there hasn't been very many times where a connection like this is like, yo, that just took
Can't
me back
believe,
to
yeah,
like,
exactly.
you're about to go see Swin.
Literally called him on my phone before I got here. I'm like, hey, he's going to practice.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
So he was on the way to practice.
Does he still lives up here?
Yep, hello, and he drives to freaking
McMinnville. Yeah.
there and back. So
Yeah.
again, older, whatever, but still the love of doing that, and that's passion, that's commitment, that's discipline.
Yeah.
Maybe he can bench a certain thing, for example, but he has so much strength in those things because a daily discipline doing is hard, man. That's like something really simple, but you're like, this is what I got to do no matter what. Not everybody can,
Yeah.
So I admire those things. I acknowledge it, and I want to learn from those. Just like you said, I'm going to take those strengths from that person, and hopefully apply it to my life, my family, the people I shared with.
Yeah.
It's never stealing. When people go like, oh, I said this, invented this. Nothing is, these things were available. You just
Right.
Discovered them,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, someone else figured it out because
Yeah.
someone else had figured it
Correct.
out, and so
and he made it a little differently
tweaked
or
it a
whatever.
little
yeah.
bit, or yeah. I mean, that it's one thing that like I've benefited. Like every time I've spoke with someone, I always hear something that like I hadn't really thought about, or I hadn't heard it said that way. Just kind of all the knowledge that I've been gaining through these conversations because we all kind of look at it a little different. So how do you approach that? I didn't think about it that way, but okay, that makes sense. Like maybe I'll try that.
And then you tried and you add something else to it that worked actually better that I didn't see.
Right.
Right. And that's the beauty of taking these things and, whatever you want to call it, try to perfect it, try to make it better, try to make it seem by different people better. Right. Because this spoke all to these people. You're like, what about these guys?
Yeah.
Planet Fitness exists for people that are not the crazy gym goers. I trained the owners. They moved to Australia before, but they had the ones in Oregon. And, people get so mad because it's successful as doing it. Bro, it touched a different...
Right.
They eat pizza on Friday.
Right.
These are people that would have just ate pizza and not trained.
Right.
But don't compare them to the people. That's the worst thing. Do not compare him to the gym I go to. This is not your... This is not your lane.
Right.
This is for people that won't go to your gym.
Right.
And if they go, they don't stay because it doesn't feel right,
Right.
So be happy there's something created for them. It's like this, I would never drive that car. It's not designed for you.
Right.
It's for other people to be able to drive too.
Right.
Again, don't think it was like this. I don't even know why this exists.
Right.
Why does the store even exist? Who shops there?
Right.
It's not for you.
Right.
There are people that's all they can do. And if that wouldn't exist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you see it that way, you live better too. You know what I mean? What is this piece of shit? Why is this
Right.
even available?
Right.
It's not for you.
Right.
Leave it in his lane.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important.
Even that preaches it's not for you. There's so many things in life, if if someone could speak into your life and just be like, yo, it's not for you. Stop getting so
Yes.
worked up on that.
I'm a gym
It's
dude.
not-
Like people just like when Planet Fitness comes up, it's like, bro, they have the Luke alarm if you grunt. I'm not saying right or wrong. It's not for you. Why you even go there? Why, go somewhere else that
Right.
fits your thing, right? I mean, I go in a room with all people Star Wars, and I'm like talking about boxing.
Right.
The room is not for me. We're not gonna,
Right.
you have to speak into those things. So
Right.
I'm happy places exist where people can get in shape, or when the New Year's resolution comes up, the real gym guys, it's bullshit. They're not gonna last. Well, you're already in the gym. You don't own working out. You don't own lifting. You don't own the gym. It's okay. There was a time, if I throw you into the, something you have you're going to look like a dumbass, but they might, hopefully somebody in there be like, hey, you need any help? Man, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm at, I hate that, man, because especially the ones, and they're not even really badass, because I can take you to a gym where it's real badass and you ain't nothing. It's like, bro, they take my squat rack and they don't know how to do things,
Right.
So
I almost feel like the higher level folks actually like understand that, like have more
course.
respect for
100%.
that. Like they're the ones that aren't going to be talking down to them.
100%.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, because they're leading, they see it, versus the whole mediocre one. They think there's whatever they think they are, but you're not. You just
Right.
go to the gym, enjoy it,
Right.
like it's a space we share. But, and then a lot of other gym owners fall into that. They don't speak up. Yeah, bro, they're in the way. They're not in your way, but I look like a dumbass if I don't say they're in my way.
Yeah.
Because you feel that about it.
right,
I'm like, bro, they're trying to get better. Like, they're not in my way, like,
right,
but then you look like, bro, what's wrong with you? Like, so you feed into that
right,
versus, like as a gym owner and people go to gym, that's like always a thing, like
yeah,
they're going to be done in April anyway.
yeah,
Bro, what is if that made a change to them till April? Well,
right,
hopefully they continue.
right,
Why would you even say that?
right,
Why, like you don't own this,
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
yep,
Hopefully people can see and be like, if you to the gym and you go like, hey, if you see that, think about it. Be like, you were at a spot sometimes, so just help out or show something, or you don't know how to use this, I can show you.
Yeah.
Then walk on. You don't need to become their friend
right,
or their trainer.
right,
Hey, you don't know that this is how you sit into this. Try it.
right,
Move on.
right,
Again, some people think like you gotta train it for the rest of the session.
Right.
He didn't know how to use it. Show it to him. Move on.
right.
Didn't cost you really anything if you do it that way.
It does seem like the gym is more of a place like I'm trying to think of other things in life. I feel like other things in life, like if you're working on something and you're kind of struggling, people are more apt to like, yo, let me help you. But it does seem like at the gym, people
different.
start to feel some kind of way, or you're in my way, or you're on my machine. It's interesting that in some areas of life, there's kind of a natural inclination of, oh, I should help this person rather than make fun of them. But it does kind of seem like there's a lot of gym mentality where, bro, like if you know how to do it, why don't you just show them they're doing it? Like, hey, can I show you? Or maybe you don't want me to show you, but I could show you how to properly, and then
If
keep
that
it moving.
vibe was like this, like you said, car enthusiast, you going new to it, come on in, man. We show you how to use it instead of
Right.
going like, you don't know what a carburetor is, bro?
right.
No, I don't.
Right. No.
No
one taught
like,
me.
Cool, look at this. This is how fuel injection. This is carburetor.
Right.
Oh, thank you. You welcome into it. You start collecting cards. You're new to it. Hey, come on in. But the gym is like,
Yeah.
again, you don't own it. People think they own something. They're
Right.
like, this is your body. You use these tools to better your mind or your body. You feel entitled to be like, you're not doing it the way it's supposed to be. Whatever you think is supposed to be is right or wrong. And you go like, they're in the squat rack curling or doing that's not, whatever. There's really no full rule on that, right? I mean, it's an exercise.
Right.
Maybe the best exercise is this, but there's 4 other things you can do on it or whatever. But instead of doing that, you can be like, hey, it's actually easier to do it over there. It's meant for it. Really? I didn't know that. Thank you, because You know, like I see people position their bodies differently in a machine because there is a machine that does that hex squat versus that. Hey, if you do it actually on that, I know what you're trying to do, but this will stretch what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Versus like what a dumbass doesn't even know it. It's crazy. Like you
Right.
said, you
Yep.
put a point on like it's because it's a gym. Again, people go there. It's not their professions, right?
Right.
They go there afterwards, right?
Right.
If it was any kind of a book club or
Right.
like, oh man,
Right.
you know, the new one came.
Yep.
We open them with arms and
Yep.
we show you things. But there's like, get out of my gym. Like, don't even be in
And
it.
then people wonder why people go to Planet Fitness, right? Because they're
Correct,
like, yo,
because-
we don't want you yelling at us because we don't know how to properly use that. Like,
They
yeah,
didn't show me or something. So
Exactly.
that's- hopefully with time, I mean, again, we have so many gyms and so many fitness enthusiasts, like, or, you know, influencers, like, you know, it's not going to hurt you if you just show one thing because there was one time you didn't know
Yep.
and you will be, again, one time in a spot in your life that is in a different object that you're not going to know.
Yeah.
I guarantee you because that's, you know, you become a new parent. You're like, I don't know this, man. I don't. Hey, come on, we have a group, like we, you know, whatever that is. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna in life go through things that you get a sickness. Knock on wood, you're not gonna know how to deal with it. Now you're seeking out people that been there or they're so open to you. You know, like you feel lost, but then you feel energy again, and they want to go to the gym and they go like, I don't look like it. I don't know what I'm doing, and they're gonna feel that way because I'm gonna proceed looking at you like this, like, what are you doing? Why would I go back? I mean,
Right.
think about it.
Right.
You know, this is bullshit. I go back and sit and eat the pizza.
Right.
Oh, this gym has pizza on Fridays? I love pizza. I'm going to check this out.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy. Like,
kind of a great business model.
hey, the one who created it in New York, he goes, I was a real gym dude. And I came up with this idea. And obviously, it worked, you know.
Yeah.
As long as you're moving, you're training, you're trying to better yourself,
Yeah.
I'll shake your hand for it because I'm in that business.
Yeah.
Not my gym, not my style. You doing it,
Yeah.
I encourage that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming by, taking the time.
Appreciate you, bro.
This
I really
has
do.
been good, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.